So you have one unit that goes this way, then you have another unit that tends to cross each other, and they try to keep the units away from each other. But I remember this one time, I was in juvenile hall, and I seen this person that I wanted to get, but he was in a different unit. So I ran out of my unit, and I ran across the hall, and I ran into his unit so I can attack him. I thought it was fun. But you're not supposed to do that, you know, because you got staff members that are trying to block you, and then the alarm goes off, and everybody's supposed to get down, and then, you know, then they start assaulting you. It's definitely interesting. And then across the way we walk, there's a girls' school. So these are some of the units right here. Like, you know, they can actually see us.
Okay.
Yeah. The court system's around, and then girls' school is actually back here. Now they got a high school here, which is a trip. I never realized that they had a high school, because I guess this is considered the east side. I didn't really know. The only thing I knew about Kiefer Boulevard was juvenile hall. That's it. Every time I was in the back of a cop car and they would call it in, we got one coming in and going to Kiefer Boulevard, because before they take you in, they gotta call dispatch and let dispatch know where they're going. So we got one coming to Kiefer for detention. We got one detained. I know I can laugh about it now because that was a long time ago, but the feelings that come up talking about juvenile hall, as you can see, is exciting.
Yeah.
Right? It's much, much different than the other conversations that I have about prison.
Yeah. You seem more excited today.
I mean, it's juvenile hall. Juvenile hall is fun. Like, I was a teenager. I wanted to make a name for myself, which I did. So I had a reputation to uphold, which I did. It was fun. Like, I hated being home. I hated my dad beating me. I didn't like anything about being home. Home to me was not safe, not comfortable. I hated it. So every time I came to juvenile hall, I came with a smile on my face. Every single time. And I know, as messed up as that sounds, even now thinking about it, I guess it'd be cool to go back in here and talk about my experience in here, but I wouldn't be the best speaker though, because I'd probably say I had a great time in here. So I wouldn't. Disclaimer, they probably wouldn't want me to come and talk in here. And I also wanted to be in every single unit. I don't know, as a teenager, I had these weird ambitions. Like, I wanted to be in every single unit. I wanted to get into a fight in every single unit. I wanted to get into a fight with more than one person in one day, in as many units as possible. Like, that's all I thought about. I thought about fighting. I never thought about escaping. Like, even my opportunity I had when that door was open, I had the opportunity to escape too, but I was like, why? I like it here. So you go through that door and then they take you in, but it's locked. Definitely no public authority, can't go in there. And then we go around, I don't know if we can walk on probably gonna get run over, but. So these are some of the courtyards right here. And then every now and then you go out for basketball, or, I don't know, could we walk on here?
I mean, we can.
Whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyways, this was my childhood home. That's the best way that I can put it. It's interesting that you built a high school right across the street, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what brainiac thought of that, but I also did a bodybuilding show there.
Yeah.
At Rosemont. Yep. Took first. Yeah. Yeah. Now I do competitive bodybuilding. Such a huge juxtapose. Tattoos definitely take away from it, though. So the wall's tall enough so you can't climb it. I mean, I guess if you try to push me over, we can probably do it, but it's too tall. Can't really put a sheet over, so it doesn't really work like that. And then, so I only spent a brief time at Wharton E. Thornton Youth Center, which is girls' school. I think I spent probably, three or 4 months, I'm not sure. It's a program. I mean, I spent time at Wharton E. Thornton Youth Center, Sacramento County Boys Ranch, and Rites of Passage in Nevada, and the California Youth Authority, which that's at Preston, YTS. And I was in YTS when the female got raped and stabbed and killed. That was on the news. That was back in 96. The whole entire place was shut down. So the whites raped, killed, and threw her in a garbage can, and then the COs actually found her dead. So we're on lockdown. And then I also spent time at Paso Robles as well, which I was the only one from Northern California from there that represented the gang that I did. So I was outnumbered 99-1. So when I said that I was used to like 6 to 7, this would have been like 100-1. So I had absolutely no chance, not even a little bit. But I still got into a fight. I knew I had to, because they were going to attack me eventually. So I got out, and I actually went on a bus ride with 6 of them. They asked me where I was from. I told them where I was from, and you can just tell they're congregating. It's just in the air. You feel it. It's this unspoken energy that I have felt since the time I was in juvenile hall, since prison, and this energy is just so hard and vast. This is another. I don't even know if it's open, to be honest with you. County of Sacramento Probation Department, Juvenile Court. So 9603. I have no idea, but this was girls' school, or Wharton E. Thornton Youth Center. Like I said, I haven't been here for years, so I don't even know if this is even still what it is.
It's different now, dude.
Yeah.
It's different. I did work project here once, so it's like, it looks a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, so it's a probation department, so they don't even have that. But I remember I ran from here, and then they sent me back. And then when they sent me back, there was my best friend at the time. There was a guy that came. I had 3 days. I was 3 days away from going home, getting released, like to go home. 3 days. And this guy comes in, and he was a rival gang member, and nobody wanted to do anything. Like, none of the people that I affiliated with that all ran with the same gang that I ran with, or at least the same color, nobody wanted to do anything. And 6 hours went by, and I was thinking to myself, there is no way I can actually be here with this person for one night. I didn't feel comfortable. I was 3 days from going home, so I beat him up. And there's other people there that probably they just started their program. So I beat him up, and then my best friend found somebody to beat up to actually come to juvenile hall with me so we can become celly. That's how tight we were. And we would do that often. It wasn't an uncommon thing. Like, typically you would have like one ride or die. Like, one person you just really, really gravitated towards. Whatever he did, you did. Whatever I did, he did. If he got into a fight, I got into a fight. You know, if he went away, I went away. If he was on the streets and got locked up, I do something to get locked up. That's just the bond that I had with my friends. That's what I grew up to as a family. That was my definition of somebody that's there for you and committed and loyal. They don't care about their freedom. They don't care about their life. They don't care about nothing other than just to be next to you, wherever you're at. As twisted as that sounds, that's what my definition of love was. If he goes away, I'm going away too. Or if he goes somewhere, I'm going there too. Because that was my brother. Now I find that kind of love isn't necessarily healthy. It's a little twisted. But from the time I was 10 until I went to the California Youth Authority, and even in prison, that was my level of loyalty. So I know that we all use this word loyalty loosely to me. You know, we say that we're loyal to somebody, but when the tough gets really tough, are they really loyal? Or they say that they have your back or they have your best interest, and then something happens, they get shot, or their families get shot, and they don't do anything. And I use these terminologies not loosely or metaphorically, but literally. So there was an incident where one of my friends was incarcerated, and he called me and said, hey, I need help. You know, he was trying to come home, and there was an individual there that had a little bit more time than him, and he kept fucking with him. So he called me and he goes, hey, can you help me out? I said, yeah. I found out where he lived. I found out who his family was. And and that puts a message to that person extremely fast. You don't do that to people without a repercussion. So if you can't get to that person, we'll just get to somebody else that you love and care about. I mean, we had no problem doing that. I was 16. I had 16, and the depth of loyalty that I had, and the depth of conviction that I had, and the depth of, I guess, bravery or stupidity that I had was so naive and so childish that that's what happens when you put a gun in a teenager's hand that is full of rage and violence and confusion and twisted love, which is the best way that I can describe it. I mean, because I think back on that, like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, like, nobody that really cares for me is going to pick up the phone and ask me to do something like that. But in that lifestyle, that's just what you do. I need your help. Well, how is a 16-year-old going to help out his friend to come home? We ain't got no money. I mean, we do, but not like that. We don't have no knowledge of, like, attorneys, or maybe we can use diplomacy with this. Maybe we can talk to them. We didn't think about stuff like that. All we thought about was using this, and if this didn't work, then we try to end you somehow, or we try to end your family somehow. Because back then, in the 80s and 90s, that's just what people did. This wasn't an uncommon thing. What I'm talking about now, I don't know how common it is now, but when I grew up, it was much, much different. Like, the people that I ran with, we actually gave a fuck about each other. We actually loved each other in a very, very twisted, violent way. But even in that violence, I knew that I can rely on people. I knew that if I really needed something, they would actually do it. So let me ask you something. Do you have anybody in your life that would actually have that much loyalty and love for you?
Felt like when I was younger, yeah.
What about now?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't expect you to do something like that, though. I wouldn't put you in that position. But
that's the difference between maturity level,
yeah.
and probably just understanding some things about my life and, like, my circumstances and where you're at, and probably how comfortable you would be, things like that. But
I feel like my brother would. I would do it for my brother.
yeah, so stuff like that was normal to me, and
Yeah.
I can't sit here and say that I regret any of it. Unfortunately, as harsh as that sounds, I don't regret any of that, because that's the character that made me who I am today.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's not who I am now.
Yeah.
But being that I'm sitting in front of this place, it's just bringing up a lot of memories that I don't normally think about.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm really, really good at burying memories and burying emotions, but I've learned that if you bury emotions and bury memories, eventually they're going to come out in a negative way.
Yeah.
They're going to come out in your present relationships, and then you're going to bleed all over them because of your past traumas and past fears that we haven't dealt with, and you just bleed all over these new relationships, as I call it. And I don't want to do that anymore. So if I can help other people, or if I can help my current clients, and if I can guide, like, my teenage clients or anybody, whether they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 70s, I would like to do that very much. And I would like my pain to be prosperous for not only myself, but all the people around me, to learn from my mistakes. And really, I think that's why I'm doing these videos and talking a little bit more about who I am, because I never realized how different I was. I always knew I was a little different, and why I was different, aside from my tattoos and maybe the way that I carry myself. But if you want to know why I am the way that I am, it's probably because these stories that I'm telling you, and probably these buildings behind me, they created who I was, ultimately.